Kamala Harris has left the building and the state, probably never to return again, from the Fight for Our Freedoms tour, which was a Q&A on campus yesterday with students, only 12 of whom got to talk to her. 12. And which included some prepared, padded remarks at the end, which apparently she says at every one of these gatherings. So there have been some interesting comments I've gathered already today, the day afterwards, as people are willing to speak their piece. Number one, good observation that I registered yesterday but didn't fully comprehend. She came to campus and interrupted students during finals or during an exam week. As I mentioned in the first video that I did on this, where I was inaccurate in describing it as a ruse to cover her arrival, there were classes that were interrupted because of a fire alarm that went off, and the instructor had to cancel an exam, and there was some concern about whether or not the lab practical for anatomy would be able to run. The Secret Service refused to let individuals into buildings which had nothing to do with the visit, but which were proximal, because it would have created foot traffic in the area, as if there were not, 90 or so Las Vegas Metro police officers sitting in their cars doing the square root of squat on campus, not to mention apparently hundreds more on the roads around us. So students were inconvenienced for this. It put their learning opportunities and educational aspirations at risk. And for an institution such as this, whose motto is students first, they sure put students in a bind. Then the other interesting comment that I heard was that this was essentially just a PR op for the vice president, the presumptive nominee, as I said, in the next presidential election, because they don't put Kamala Harris out there very often. And it was a brief, scripted, choreographed event where she could come and showcase her ideas, opinions, and platform for climate change and gun control and fossil fuels and a whole slew of other things. But it was a PR event that the state paid for and that the students are paying for because they weren't here. I mean, I asked somebody while we were waiting for her to arrive how much it cost, all the security guards. And she said, "Oh my gosh, I hope you didn't have to pay for her." And I said, "We have to pay for everybody. Hillary Clinton comes, Donald Trump comes. There's a speaking fee, an appearance fee. So we probably had to pay for her to come and interrupt class, because a lot of people canceled classes who didn't have to. The OChem classes in chemistry were canceled, even though there would have been no interruption to their normal flow, aside from parking lot issues, because less than 1/3 of the parking lot was available. And even after it cleared out, because I was here for my 7:30 lab last night, the parking lot was pretty damn full once it cleared out. There are lots of students here, and they would not have been able to be accommodated by the parking that they allowed us to continue to use. So I'm really kind of miffed at her arrogance to displace students. But really, that's because they don't really like students or care about them. They only care about manipulating students into voting for them. Because in the days beforehand, there were people on campus every day trying to register people to vote. They're not here today. They won't probably be here next week because the event is over. And we had to pay for the privilege of hosting a PR event for the vice president, who basically needs all the PR she can get. But I don't know if it'll help her. I don't really know how it helped the students either, since all it really did was tell students who wanted to hear what she had to say that they were right, and everybody else got told that they got gaslit if based on their values. I have not watched it. I'm not going to watch it. I have 52 minutes. I would rather do other things with it, like eat shards of broken glass. So, Chameleon Harris is gone. But her stripes are the same color they always have been. The bottom line, though, is that most politicians are actors. Politics, I forget who said this, is Hollywood for ugly people. I don't know that everyone in politics is ugly, but it is very interesting that most of them will clothe their naked villainy with odd ends stolen forth from Holy Writ and seem saints when most they play the devil. That they will promise you whatever it takes to get elected, and then once elected, flip you the bird. They are the only constituent they really care about. Everything else is optics in order to get elected, regardless of the party affiliation. Most of them could not care less about you. And if they do something that helps you, it's probably accidental, or they're trying to buy your vote. Anyway, make good choices, do your own homework, and exercise your franchise, because if you don't vote, then you voted for the other guy. Godspeed.